It's 26th of September, 2022. A person dressed all in black just left his apartment, and now he's heading towards school number 88 in Izhevsk, Russia, armed with 2 pistols, 44 magazines containing 352 rounds of ammunition. At around 10:52 a.m., the gunman entered the school and opened fire, killing 18 people and causing 23 wounded person. Today, we're going to look at the life of Artyom Kazanstev to understand how this tragedy unfolded and what were his motives, and how the shockwaves of the 1999 Columbine High School shootings are still influencing lives decades later. This is one of the worst school shooting in Russia history, and it didn't get that attention from the Western media, which is crazy. However, please subscribe and let's delve deeper.
Gunmen killed at least 17 people at a school in Russia today, 11 of them. Investigators believe the suspect may have been inspired by a deadly U.S. school shooting. Tina Kraus has the story.
Students ran as medics rushed to help the injured outside a school in Russia where a gunman opened fire. Russian authorities say the suspect, a former student, killed many before turning the gun on himself.
Вот окно. Там кровь разлита, вон там вообще.
The gunman entered the school and opened fire, killing one of the guards and a cloakroom attendant and fatally wounding a cleaner. Moving deeper into the building, the gunman made his way down the hallway toward a classroom at the far end. An art teacher and 3 first graders, all aged 7. Kazantsev then came back to the entrance and went to the second floor. Second guard, who had already reported the shooting and was on his way to warn the teachers on the upper floors. On the second and third floors, the shooter forced his way into several classrooms, firing indiscriminately at those inside. In the chaos, 3 students, just 9, 10, and 11 years old, along with a math teacher, lost their lives. According to one 3rd grade survivor, the shooter shouted, "Bastards, where are you?" after leaving a room where children were hiding beneath their desks. The words echoed through the hallway, leaving a haunting memory of those terrifying moments. He then moved to room 403 on the 4th floor. There, 5 students aged 14 to 15 and an English teacher were tragically before the gunman ultimately took his own life. The shooting left 7 children and 6 adults, including 2 security guards and 2 teachers, Russian officials noted. Staff and pupils were evacuated from the buildings. These events unfolded in just minutes, but their impact continues to be felt by everyone who lived through that day. Videos of the aftermath were posted by the investigative committee, which included images of the interior of the school and Kazantsev's body lying on the floor of the classroom. According to an email written by Kazantsev to the school he attacked 20 minutes prior, to be exact 10:32 a.m., the attack was not a terrorist incident. The email contains the following: "Hello, my name is Tamerlane. I am not sure if Tamerlane was his name being translated weirdly from Russian, or he meant the dead Boston bomber because he had a similar name. If you had another opinion that could help, share it in the comments section. As the only reason for what happened, I ask you to indicate hatred. What happened is not a terrorist attack. However, I don't really care how it will be classified. I didn't play Doc Z, although I liked the review. The word Doc Z, it's a mistranslation. Probably of DayZ, or Doka 2, or Dota 2. I am sure he meant a video game, but which one I don't know. The biggest desire to kill people was caused by the game Alod's Online. Please forbid it. He was mocking how the media blames games for shootings and killing. I wasn't listening to Morgenstern. He's a Russian rapper. I watched one clip. Blood came out of my ears and eyes. This is not a conspiracy of the special services, although the president gave me all the money for weapons. To buy weapons illegally, in my opinion, is even easier than legally, but a little more expensive. However, those who go one way, such a nuance will not stop. The security measures not only do not work at all, they have also turned into a corrupt income item. I even wonder what the scale of corruption is. How much has been stolen now, however, I no longer recognize it. I laughed wildly reading the news from PSNIU about a phone with a dial for an emergency call of a policeman with a whistle and a baton. It took the investigation a whole year to find out this. Apparently, we decided to shit ourselves before the anniversary laughing. I have a one-way ticket, and even the possibility that I will be taken alive does not stop me. This day will be the best in my life. I'm finally going to die. I understand perfectly well what will happen next in the media, etc. They'll stink for a week and forget. I already foresee all your stupid comments. You'll stink for a week and forget. I have exactly the same opinion about you and wish you the same. My explanation of this email is a bitter, sarcastic message from the killer, declaring his plan to commit violence and mocking everyone who will react to it. Artyom Kazanstev rejects political or ideological motives. Instead, his blaming hatred and ridiculing the media's habit of blaming video games, music, or conspiracies. He complain about corruption, criticize security measures, and say they expect to die. Overall, it reads as a mix of anger, dark humor, and a desire to shock people before disappearing from attention. According to the investigative committee, the shooter was 34-year-old Artyom Igorevich Kazanstev, born 29th of January 1988, a native of Izhevsk and a former student of the school. It was reported that he was wearing a t-shirt with Nazi symbols and a balaclava, and the weapons used were found to be 2 pistols. It was also braided with keychains honoring Columbine massacre perpetrators Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold. According to the head of Udmurtia, Alexander Brechelov, Kazanstev was registered as an outpatient at a mental health facility with a diagnosis of schizophrenia. The law enforcers were forbidden to publicize Artyom Kazantsev's manifesto. He deleted everything from his computer and left a message there. In a file called Manifesto, he wrote that he wanted to kill his mother. He changed his mind, as this could have derailed his global plan to attack the school. In the text, he criticizes and expresses hatred towards power and state bodies, specific political and cultural figures, as well as gives his assessment of the events. In preparation, Kazantsev studied the actions of the operational services that stormed his predecessor shooters. As investigators searched through Artyom Kazantsev's life, one question became central. How did he even obtain the weapons used that day? Because officially, Kazantsev wasn't allowed to own firearms. He had no license, no registration, and his documented mental health history alone would have made legal ownership impossible. But what investigators eventually uncovered was far more troubling. Kazantsev had acquired 2 traumatic pistols, weapons typically designed for non-lethal use. At some point, someone had illegally modified them to fire live ammunition. The serial numbers had been scraped off, and the guns were completely untraceable. They discovered that he had spent months, possibly more than a year, preparing, slowly purchasing ammunition, extra magazines, and gathering everything he needed without attracting attention. Sources suggest he paid for these items with money saved from disability benefits, keeping his plans hidden from everyone around him. What stood out most was the level of secrecy. Every step, from buying the guns on the black market to modifying them into something far deadlier, was done quietly, leaving almost no trail behind. Investigators still don't know who sold him the weapons or who might have helped him alter them. What they do know is that Kazantsev carefully built the tools he would later use, long before anyone realized the danger he posed. In the end, the tragedy at school number 88 shows how fast things can turn deadly when warning signs are ignored. And today, those signs often appear online, in dark corners of social media where hate spreads quickly and lonely people can get pushed in the wrong direction. We've seen this before. The 1999 school shooting proved how dangerous these ideas can become when no one steps in. Years later, the tools have changed, but the threat is bigger than ever.